Good night, everybody. Good night. Thank you for tuning in to Leadership Conversations with Colin, with KeenVision. Thank you for tuning in. I'm gonna give some people a little bit more time to log on. I appreciate everyone's taking the time to support. I appreciate it's a brand new day. It's a brand new week. It's a marvelous Monday, a motivational Monday. And it's truly a privilege to be able to chat with everyone tonight. I hope all is well. I know it's been an interesting weekend. We had rain over the weekend, but it's good to be alive. It's good to be able to breathe. It's good to be able to have the functions of limbs, to be able to walk, to be able to talk. And so I am truly appreciative of another day. I thank everybody for tuning in. This is Leadership Conversations. Um, Good evening. Good evening. The Leadership Conversations where we talk about various leadership topics, where we discuss and we talk about some of the challenges and some of the strategies of leadership. We talk about how we can be able to develop and create different strategies that are going to be able to help us be better leaders. How do we figure out how do we overcome some of the challenges that come with being a leader? How do we build vision? How do we get and create new ideas? So thank you all again for tuning in. It's truly a pleasure to be able to speak with everyone, to have this conversation. I started this leadership conversations because I noticed that with a lot of people that I've spoken with, that there are a lot of misconceptions and misunderstandings and lack of understanding when it comes to what is leadership. And so leadership is all about being able to lead, being able to build vision, being able to navigate your path, being able to develop the character and the skills necessary to be able to be effective in whatever industry you're working in. It doesn't matter what industry that you're in. It could be education, it could be business, it could be finance, it could be accounting. It can be any field. We're all leaders in our own right. We all have the capability of leading. And so I started this leadership conversations to be able for us to talk, to be able to chat, to discuss some of the various topics, to take a little bit of the secret or the mystery out of what makes a leader a good leader, to take away some of the mindset or to break the idea or the myth that leadership is something that is exclusive to certain people. So thank you for tuning in. Good evening, my beautiful wife Asha. Good evening, Sister Angela. God bless you. Thank you for tuning in. So we're getting ready to start a new month. It's crazy. We've already completed 3 months of 2021. We're already getting ready to kick off the second quarter, which is crazy. It feels like we were just celebrating Christmas, we were just celebrating New Year's, but now we're in the end of March and we're getting ready to start April. April 1st is the beginning of a new quarter, the second quarter of the year. And so I hope that the things that we've been discussing so far has been helpful. I hope that you were able to get something from it. I want to continue the conversation that we've been having about vision building. KeenVision is all about helping people to build their vision. This organization that I started, I created, is to help people to not only find their purpose, right? We all have a purpose, and one of the challenges that we have is finding our purpose. But not only finding purpose, but also being able to build that bridge, to be able to build that path, to be able to be a trendsetter, and to be able to set the path that will take us to that dream, to take us to that purpose, to take us to that goal. And so I want to continue, as I said, this conversation that we've been having so far about vision building. We've talked about so many different things, and I want to continue the conversation. I want to continue to talk about various things, but I want to take the time to do another shout out. Like I said last week, I want to be able to take the time out to shout out some leaders that I know that are effective and that are really doing, good things in their field, doing great things. You know, it's not always the person that does the most magnificent thing, but sometimes it's just doing the small things. It's starting something. It's creating your own lane, creating your own path. And so I don't know if she's on or if she'll see it later on today, but I want to give a shout out to a good friend of mine, Catherine Kennard, who started an organization called Deeper, and was tuning into her live last week. She comes on live every Thursday at 7 p.m. And it was truly a blessing to listen to some of the things that she was talking about. She was talking about being able to persevere. She was talking about being persistent. And one of the main most important things that we need to have as a leader is the ability to be persistent. We have to be persistent because in any field that you're working with, in anything that you're building, in any area that you're in, you're going to experience failure and you're going to experience challenges. And sometimes people give up once they face a certain challenge. Sometimes some people just quit. Some people just throw in the towel when things are not going their way. But when you have that persistence and when you are able to persevere, that's what makes a leader stand out among other people. That in the faces of no, they're still in pursuit. In the faces of rejection, they're still being active. They're still going strong. And so one of the important qualities that we have to have as leaders is to be persistent. And so I was truly blessed by it, and I wanted to give her a shout out. I'm sure she'll probably see this later, but I wanted to give her a shout out because she's truly making strides in trying to help people to not only build their prayer life and build their relationship with God, but also to help people to really understand the importance of how prayer works. One thing that I've come to realize is that even if you're not Christian, you pray. Usually the most successful people in my studies, that studying the habits of successful people, they pray. Some of them may call it meditation. I read that one person call it not prayer, but sending love or sending gratitude or sending appreciation. And every truly successful person starts off their day with prayer and meditation, thanking God or thanking God for another day, thanking God for the benefits of being in the position that they're in. And so we can't downplay the importance of prayer. We can't downplay the importance of meditation. We can't downplay the importance of really being connected to God, because truly God is the source of who we are and the source of our life. And so, I just want to give Catherine a shout out again for all that she's doing. If you want, you can tune into her live. She's live every Thursday at 7 p.m. I guarantee that you won't miss out. I guarantee that you'll be blessed by it. So, wanted to give her a shout out this week as my leader's shout out for the week. And I want to encourage her to keep doing what she's doing, continue to persist, continue to persevere, and watch how it grows. So I wanted to just do that as my leadership shout out for this week. Want to continue this conversation that we've been having about building vision. Right? We've talked about various things, from having what a vision needs to have, transforming your dreams from the dream to the vision, having wisdom, right? Having the right perspective. We talked about all of these things. And I've been reading this book, and I read something I read a quote that really stuck out to me, and I felt that it was something important to share, and I felt that it was something that important to talk about as we talk about vision building. For those of you who need a book to read, I've been reading The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. It's a really good book. It talks about how it is the small things that we do that eventually compound and build into making us greater. And it's about doing the small things to get the big win. And so The Compound Effect is a very good and simple read, but it's very informative, and it helps a lot, especially from the perspective of someone who is successful, from the perspective of someone who is wealthy, someone who is a successful business person, someone who is experience victory in building their vision. So I was reading this book this weekend, and I read a quote that Mr. Hardy put in one of the chapters, and the quote really stuck out to me. It's a quote from Jim Rohn, and it says, "If you want to have more, you have to become more." So success is not something you pursue. Success is something you attract by the person you become. I'm gonna read that again. If you want to have more, you have to become more. Success is not something you pursue. Success is something you attract by the person you become. I thought it was so interesting, that quote, because of the fact that we oftentimes we have this mindset that we have to pursue success. We have this idea that we have to pursue success. We have to pursue an education. We have to pursue a career. We have to pursue promotion. We have to pursue money, right? We're always in pursuit of things. We're always in pursuit of things that we want. We want to achieve something. We're always in pursuit of something that we want. Whether it's being in a position of wanting a better job, right? We're in pursuit of a better job. We're in pursuit of a promotion on our job. We're in pursuit of trying to get money. We're in pursuit of what we consider success. And so most of our lives we spend running and in pursuit of something, right? We're always in pursuit of the things that we want. And so what was mind-blowing about this quote is that we always think about what we need in order to get what we want, but we never ask ourselves the questions, who do I need to become in order to be successful? We want to build something successful. We want to build a business. We want to build a nonprofit. We want to build a team. We want to build all of these things, and work towards being successful. But how many times do we really take the time to sit and think about, who do I need to become in order to be successful? We always talk about going for the goal. We talk about going big or go home. We talk about how we need to pursue greatness. But while these things are true, we miss a key component, and that's the becoming aspect. Success is not something you pursue. Success is something that you attract by the person you become. It is about becoming. It's about becoming that successful person. And when you really think about it, many people, they pursue success and they achieve success, but they're unable to maintain it because they don't become the person they need to become to be able to manage or to handle that success. See, we want to achieve goals and we want to build vision, but we have to ask, who do I need to get there? How do I develop in my capacity to manage and to handle the place that I'm trying to go? Do I have the capacity, the time, the wherewithal, the mindset to be able to handle the end point, to handle where I am, who I should be when I accomplish the vision? See, many of us are unable to accomplish our vision. We are unable to accomplish our dreams. We're unable to accomplish our goals because we don't have the capacity to handle it. We want all of these things. We want to run a successful company. We want to build a great product, right? We want to do all of these things, and we think about all of the external factors, right? All of the external factors that we need to be able to accomplish that, to be able to get to that. But we never look on the inside of, what do I need to do? We think about what we need. We think about how much money we need. We think about the money and the cost and what resources and people that we need to attract to be a part of our team. But are you able to handle it? Are you able to handle the completed vision? Are you able to handle the success? That's a question that we tend to not think about, right? One of the biggest challenges that some people have is that fear of success. Why? Because of this inward feeling that I'm not good enough. or that I don't have the capacity to be able to handle, to manage, right? So you want to run a successful company. How do you become the CEO that's going to be able to make it, to run it when it becomes successful, right? You want to get married. How do you become the wife or the husband needed to have a successful marriage, right? You want to start a ministry. You want to start a nonprofit organization. Who do I need to become? What characteristics do I need to develop? What personality traits do I need to develop? What mindset do I need to develop to be able to manage that success? We want to go for the goal, we want to go for the end, but we ultimately, if we're not growing into it, if we're not growing into the person that can properly run it, when we get to that point of being successful, we will lose that momentum, and as fast as we go up is as fast as we'll go down. Think about all of the successful people that have failed, right? That have you hear, especially like in music, you hear a lot of these rappers who have this one hit song and it's the summer jam, but then you never hear anything from them again. Why? Because they get their wealth, they get their riches, they get their money, but they don't have the capacity, they don't have the character to be able to even handle that success. So now you never hear from them again because they either get in trouble or they're unable to produce another hit song or they mismanage their money. I've seen so many stories of athletes who sign big contracts, and when by the time they retire from their particular sport, they're completely broke. Why? Because even though they had the talent to become successful, even though they had the skill to be successful, they didn't have the character or the qualities necessary to be able to manage and to handle it. So it's a hard question to ask. Who do I need to be? What do I need to become in order to manage the completed vision? It's a hard question because it forces us to look internally. It forces us to look at our strengths. It forces us to look at our weaknesses. It forces us to look at the things that are flaws, right? We think that being successful will hide our flaws. But the truth of the matter is that success and money only magnifies who you are. And so it's a challenge to be able to try to compete, to fit. Good evening. Excuse me. Good evening, Sister Susan. Good evening, Sister Catherine. I hope you heard my shout out for you tonight. But as I was saying, we have to look internally, and it's always a challenge to look internally. It's always a challenge to really look at our flaws, to look at the things that we need to fix. It's always hard to look at what we need to become. But these are the things that we have to look, because if we want to build a successful vision, you don't want to put all your effort and your time in building it, and then because you can't handle it, you lose it. Right? Some of the most wealthy people, and I talked about this last week, some of the most wealthy people, they get to a point where they understand business, or they understand their industry, and they develop the character and the personality and the traits of success that even if they were to lose it tomorrow, it wouldn't even bother them. They would just start again because they know they will be successful. Why? Because they've been processed, they've been able to develop, they've been able to become the person they need to be to create success. We want to be wealthy, we want to be successful, we want to be great. We have to become the character. We have to become the person in order to get to that level of greatness, to get to that level of success and that level of wealth. So that even if you lose it, even if you build it and you lose it, you can rebuild it again. One of the most polarizing people or interesting people is Gary Vee, right? If you ever see any of his videos, he talks about the fact that he is not afraid of loss. He's not afraid of failure, because he knows it's a normal part of life. And he spent time in building. He's like, I don't waste my time doing stuff that's unnecessary. I don't spend time worrying about what people think about me. I spend all my time in building myself so that when failures come, I'm okay with it because I know how to be successful. And that's the kind of thing that we have to develop. Ask yourself the question, can I really handle having the dream that I'm working towards? Am I the person suitable to be the CEO? If I was an employee of myself, would I work for me? You got to ask that question because you have to really look internally to see, am I capable? Right? You want to get married, or you want to, am I the husband, or am I the wife that I would want to marry? You know, you got to ask those questions. I want to have children. Am I able to be the parent, right? Do I have the capacity to handle a screaming child at 3 o'clock in the morning? All of these questions you have to ask yourself, because when you finally obtain what you've been desiring and what you've been pushing for and what you've been working towards, when you finally reach it, you have to be able to have the capacity to manage it. See, the thing is that if you want to be successful, you have to become it. One of the things that I can say about myself, right, is that I always had a desire to be a good husband and to be a good father, right? And so I spent my time, evaluating myself, evaluating past relationships, evaluating conversations and discussions I've had with people. All of these things to try to make sure that I am the person that when I do get married, that I can be the proper husband. When I do have children, that I can be a good father, right? I learned from the relationships. I learned what characteristics I need to adopt. I learned what characteristics I need to let go of. I practice, right? I have a bunch of nieces and nephews, right? And I practice by treating them as if they were my own child. How do I treat them? The way that I treat them is how I would treat my own children. So you have to be doing these things to really truly develop into the dream, to develop into the vision, to develop into the goal. I've always had a desire to teach. I've had a desire to train leaders. It's been my passion since college to train and help leaders develop, right? So what did I do? I studied leaders. I spent years reading books. I still read books. I still watch videos. I still watch speeches. I still watch lectures. I still sign up for online classes. I still do the necessary things because I want to one day become an effective leader that is going to be able to help other leaders grow. And so because my passion is to help leaders grow, I'm constantly working on building myself so that when I build a successful company that's training leaders, I have the capacity because I've gone through the hours of training. I've gone through the hours of reading. I've gone through the hours of studying. I've gone through the hours of practicing leadership, learning the do's and the don'ts, learning what character traits work, knowing when to motivate and when to pull back, knowing when to encourage and when to be firm, knowing when to be soft-spoken and when to be strict. I know I'm taking the time to build myself because ultimately I want to be this kind of leader. And so this is where I'm at. And so I know that I need to do the work so that when I get to this point of being successful, I can be able to manage it. I don't want to spend all my time and energy building a successful company just to lose it in a week because of something that's wrong. And we see all the time people who, especially in this time, 2021 with social media, people are constantly being exposed for the things that they preach and teach but don't practice. And so the time that's been spent in building a successful business or building a successful following easily comes crumbling. And everybody knows this, that it's easy to destroy than it is to build. Right? That's why the cancel culture and social media is so effective, because you can instantly destroy somebody's career by based on one mistake that they've made, based on something that they've done, because of their inability to become who they needed to become in that place. You see, in an instant, everything that they worked towards building has come down. So you have to be able to develop and grow into and become. We spend so much time trying to do, and we spend less time becoming. And what I'm saying is that if we want to build a successful vision, if we want to build our dream, you have to be building yourself simultaneously as you're building the dream. We have to be simultaneously working on our character, working on the internal factors, as well as we're building the external factors. Can I be a good CEO? Can I be a good manager? Can I be a good boss? I'm applying for a job. Can I be a good employee in that position? All of these questions we have to ask ourselves, and we have to constantly be studying and building and developing different routines. We have to be building different habits, mannerisms, building proper mindsets and thought processes. We have to constantly be building these things and adopting and adapting. Go ahead and put that in the chat. Adopt and adapt. We have to be able to adopt and adapt to be able to grow and become the successful people that we desire to be. See, one thing that I've learned in studying, and which helped me really to kind of change my way of thinking, is that I got to a point where I was tired of the job that I was at. I got tired of being the hamster on the wheel, every day being the same thing, being mistreated by bosses, being mistreated by fellow employees. And I decided that something needed to change. I was frustrated with where I was because I wanted to be here. I wanted better. I wanted better for myself. I wanted a better job. I wanted better experience. I wanted to come to a job that I enjoy, right? I wanted to be in a place where I enjoy working with my team, working with my managers, working with my coworkers. You know, I wanted to be in a better place, and applying for jobs and being rejected and getting those emails. Thank you for applying, but unfortunately. And we've all experienced that. We've all gotten those emails that thank you for applying, but unfortunately, right? We decided to move in a different direction. We've all had those experiences where you're applying for something, you're working towards something, and you get those rejections, right? So I was in a position where I was so frustrated with everything, to the point that it was so mentally taxing and emotionally taxing that I would start my day drained. And I decided that something needs to change. And I said to myself, I got to do something different. I have to become something different. And so what I did was I got to work, and I'll never forget the day. I got to work and I was just frustrated. I got an email, another stupid email about another useless time-wasting project that could have been done, that could have been automated. And I said, I can't do this. I said, I need to change my habits. I need to change my life. I need to do something to change my life. And so what I did is I started Googling habits of successful people. Because if I desire to be successful, if I desire to get to that place of being a millionaire, and I do, if I desire to be in that place, I clearly have to do something different than what I'm doing now. And so what I did is I Googled habits of successful people. I Googled and saw what are their daily habits. What are the daily habits of people who are millionaires? Because if I want to get to that place and I want to get to that position, I have to start developing certain habits. I have to find out what the mannerisms are, what the behaviors are, what are the habits of successful people. Because if I'm going to shift and move from this place, I have to become. I have to be what I want to be, what I want to have. And so I started Googling and I started researching and I started studying habits. I started seeing that most successful people, they're up by 5 a.m., right? I'm still working on that. I'm still working on that. But they get up at 5 a.m. The first thing they do before they do anything, before they look at their phone, before they look at their social media, before they read an email, the first thing they do is sit and meditate, gather their thoughts. They pray, they're grateful, they express gratitude for another day. They start their day off with being grateful. They start off their day with gratitude to set their day off in a positive tone, with a positive tone and in a positive direction. So they get up, they pray, they meditate, they exercise, right? They'll go for a mile walk or a mile run or go running on a treadmill or do morning stretches. And then they'll read or they'll write at a time when they have no interruption, nobody emailing them crazily, no other distractions. It's just them and they write. One of the people that I study all the time and I read and I follow all the time and I look up to, John Maxwell. I was watching a video where he was doing a teaching. He was doing a teaching and he said, I get up every day at 5:30 a.m. and I start writing. He said, before I read an email, before I get distracted by anything else, before I think about what I have to do for the day, I get up and I write. And he said, I love writing. He said, I love it. I love getting up at 5:30 and writing. He said, I don't get up at 5:30 and I'm like, oh my God, I gotta write. He's like, every morning he loves writing and letting that be the first thing that he does. So they get up and write. Then they start to think about what they have to do for the day. So before they start getting into their daily routine of getting up and going to work, they do all of these things. They pray, they exercise, they write, they read, they get their brain going, they get their mind going, they set the tone of their day with positivity. And then they start to think about what they need to do for the day. So by setting their day in a positive manner, right? They're able to set the day, start the day off on the right foot. And how many of us do those things? The first thing we tend to do is we look at our phone to see if there are any notifications, to see if there's anything happening. Did I miss an email overnight? That's the first thing that we tend to do when we get up. Or we get up and we're sluggish and we're tired and we're complaining about how terrible it is of a day and oh my God, I got to go back to work. I know that firsthand. I know that firsthand where my alarm goes off and I kiss my teeth and I'm upset because I felt like I just went to bed and I start my day off grumpy. And let's be honest, when you start your days off that way, it sets the tone for the day. You find that you're grumpy and you're cranky for most of the day. You don't want to be bothered, right? Maybe I'm just talking about me. Maybe that doesn't apply to you. But setting the day off in the proper tone. So what I did is I started studying and I started writing those things. Listen, these are what people in the position that I'm trying to get to. I'm trying to get where they are. These are the things that they do on a daily basis. So I need to now figure out ways to create my own schedule or figure out ways to adopt those habits into my day so that I can be successful as them. See, the thing is that what we have today, which is so great, one of the blessings of the internet is that we have the blueprint. We have the blueprint in front of us. We're able to Google and we're able to search and we see examples of where we want to go, right? I guarantee whatever industry you're in, whatever area that you're desiring to build your vision in, there is an example that's available. There's someone who has gone through the process to get to the level of success that you're trying to get to. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. It can be business, it can be in education, it can be in healthcare, it can be in sports, it can be in ministry, it can be in any area. I guarantee where you're trying to go, there's someone that has gone through the ringer and who is an example of that you can follow. And so we have that capacity and that capability that we don't have to necessarily go through certain trials and certain challenges and certain obstacles to get to where we want to be, because we have examples that we can easily access. So what am I saying? That we have to be able to grow. We have to look at the examples that we have so that we can become what we want to be. We have to become the success that we want to accomplish. And for those of you that are just tuning in, there was a quote that I read this week that I wanted to share, that kind of sparked this whole train of thought, and that if you want to have more, you have to become more. Success is not something you pursue. Success is something that you attract by the person you become. So we have to all grow. What does become mean? We have to grow into into the person that we desire to be. Become, by definition, means to come into existence, to undergo change or development, to grow into. So to become requires process, it requires intentionality, it requires adaptability, it requires flexibility, it requires transformation. You think about the process of a caterpillar. A caterpillar goes through the cocoon process to grow into the butterfly, to become the butterfly. Children, they go through the process of becoming an adult. So becoming directly results to growth. And we always have to be in the process of becoming. We have to always be on a daily basis. We have to always grow into the process of being who we want to be. So becoming is always a consistent developmental process that we have to go through on a daily basis to truly reach our end goal. See, when you become, you attract what you need. I'm gonna say that again. When you become, you attract what you need. John Maxwell, in his book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, one of the laws that he has is the law of magnetism. Right? And the law of magnetism says that you attract, who you attract is not determined by what you want. It's determined by who you are. The law of magnetism, who you attract is not determined by what you want, but it is determined by who you are. And a prime example of that, right? We always hear the saying, birds of a feather flock together. We always hear, you are the company that you keep, right? The law of magnetism says that you attract who you are, not you attract what you want. Sorry, you attract who you are, not what you want. And too many of us were stuck in the mindset of trying to attract what we want, but we don't recognize that we attract who we are. So if you're a person who's funny, right? You tend to be people tend to be attracted to your funny personality. Everybody knows that class clown, right? The class clown was always popular because people were attracted to the comedic aspect of that person, right? If you're a person who's rude and sarcastic, right? You find that you attract and you draw such sarcastic people, rude people, right? Too many of us, we wonder why we desire to attract this, but we always get that, right? I want to attract good people who are trustworthy. I want to attract someone who I can trust and depend on. I want to attract a good man. I want to attract a good woman. I want to attract good people to be on my team. But the question is, who are you? Who are you is the question. And you know who you are by the type of people you attract, by the things that you attract. And so we have to be mindful of the type of person that we are and be mindful of, if we want to attract certain things, we have to change who we are. So you attract not what you want, but you attract who you are. And so we have to be able to really truly take a deep dive and look in ourselves. And when you see the type of people that are around you, look at your circle, right? The type of people that, how do people feel comfortable around you? The people that feel comfortable around you. Who are the people that feel comfortable around you? Why do they feel comfortable around you? Usually it's because of the personality that you have. You attract them. Yes, Sister Angela says that, show me your company and I'll tell you who you are. We hear that all the time. Show me your company, I'll tell you who you are. A lot of times you can tell who a person is by the people that are around them, by the people that are in the inner circle. My wife is someone who, my wife is the type of person who people will not go to her to talk about gossip, right? She's the type of person, because of the person, she's the person who doesn't entertain gossip. When people come around her, they know not to talk gossip around her, right? They know to have a certain level of respect when they're around her. Why? Because of the personality that she has, because of the character that she is. And so we have to really take a look at ourselves. Who are the people that we attract? What are the things that we attract? And if we want to attract something different, if we want to attract someone different, if we want to attract different people, then we have to start changing who we are, changing our personality, and working on really developing new habits so that we can become the person who attracts the right people. I'm hoping I'm making sense, because we tend to get caught up in what we want. And we're like, for those of us, we're like, God, why can't I have this? Why can't I have this? Why can't I do this? And the question is that you have to ask is, are you the right person? Have you become the right person to attract what you desire? Now, we have to understand this, that if we want to attract people, we want to attract the resources that will help us to be successful, we have to become the type of person that will attract those people, to attract those resources. But on the flip side, understand that the person that you are, the person that you become, will also attract the negative, will also attract the challenges and the obstacles that go along with being the person that you have to become, but being the person that you are. We say all the time, we say the phrase all the time, new levels, new devils, right? We always talk about that. Why do we say that? Because the challenges and the obstacles that we face are attracted directly to who we are. It's directed to who we are becoming. And so you wonder why you go through the things that you go through, why you experience the testing, and you experience the obstacles, and you experience the challenges that you face. It's in direct relationship to who you are and who you're becoming. And so I want to put that in, because it's not all the time that the negative that is attracted to us is because we're necessarily negative. But we have to be able to really truly differentiate what is attracted to us on the negative and what is attracted to us on the positive side. What are we entertaining, right? Because some of the things that we entertain opens up an opportunity for certain things to happen. Because we entertain negative talk, right? Because we entertain negativity, right? Sometimes because we entertain it, we attract that and we allow it to affect our lives. There are times where you entertain it, and there are times where it's just attracted to challenge, to be an obstacle to where you're going. And I'm trying to differentiate, because we have to understand what is an obstacle to where we're trying to go, and what is in our life because we're directly related to it, because we directly entertain it. So there are some negative things in our lives that we entertain, And there are certain negative things in our lives that we don't entertain but are attracted to us because of who we are becoming. And it becomes a direct hindrance and a direct obstacle, a direct barrier to prevent us to get to where we're trying to go. And so we really have to truly to evaluate our relationships. We have to truly evaluate our friendships. We have to truly evaluate the people that we're in contact with, right? We have to evaluate these things because what am I entertaining and what is an obstacle? What am I coming into agreement with and what am I fighting against? Because if you entertain people who are always complaining, you're going to find that you're always going to be complaining. If you entertain people who are always miserable, then you're going to be miserable. And so we have to really truly evaluate the relationships that we have and separate what is what. But understand that with every attempt that you make to become greater, to become who you are destined to be, we have to recognize the direct challenges that come with that. Because when you look at it, everyone has different problems. Rich people have different problems from poor people, right? Celebrities have different problems from non-celebrities. Home owners have different obstacles than people who rent. See, that whatever level that you're on, whatever stage in life that you're in, wherever place you are in the process of accomplishing your dream, there are going to be problems associated and challenges associated with that. So understanding that there's a difference and understanding what we are in control over and what we don't have control over. You don't have control over the obstacles that you face. You don't have control over the challenges that you face, but you have the power to control how you react. You also have the power to control who's in your circle. If you're around someone who's constantly spitting negativity or around around a person who's always noticing the wrong that other people do, maybe you need to separate from them. Maybe you need to distance yourself from them because it seems like every time you talk to them, they always have something negative to say about the next person. They never take accountability for their actions. It's always somebody else's fault. We all know those people. We know those people who don't work to accomplish their dream, but it's everybody else's fault. We know those people who are always embellishing who they are, or they're always lying. We know those people who are always scamming. We know those people who are always trying to find shortcuts to achieve success. You got to evaluate, is this relationship helping me to be successful? Is this relationship helping me to become who I need to become? One thing that I've learned in my years of being on this earth is that I don't have time to worry about what other problems other people are having. I will encourage, I will be an ear for you to listen to, but I don't have the time to judge you on what your problems are because I have my own. I don't have the time to focus on the negativity because I'm working to building something positive, right? I'm not trying to be around people who are manipulative or be around people who take advantage or be around people who are self-centered, right? Especially in my field, I'm working towards helping build leaders. I'm always talking about adding value. So I don't want to be around people who are going to be constantly taking value from me or from people around me. So I got to separate myself from someone who's not walking the same path that I'm walking, who's not have the same beliefs or same goals that I have. So all these things we have to understand. You want to attract what you want, then you need to become the person that you want to attract. I was reading this book, The Compound Effect, and the gentleman was talking about how he wrote down pages. He said he wrote down 10 pages down to the details of their hair color of the kind of wife that he wanted. He talked about like what kind of personality she has to have, what things she has to like, and all of these things. And this man said that he wrote 10 pages of the perfect wife that he wants. And he said that in writing the 10 pages that he of the type of wife that he wanted, he said that he really had to look at it and say, am I the type of man who will be able to attract this type of woman? And he said what he had to do was write down the characteristics the positive qualities and the negative qualities of himself, and figure out, does he have what it takes to be able to attract the kind of wife that he wants? That's how we have to be. Do I have the traits to own $1 million, to run $1 million business? Do I have the characteristics and the personality to run a successful nonprofit organization? Do I have the right characteristics and personality to run a successful ministry? Right? People think that ministry is just about being able to preach and teach well. But how are you able to have positive relationships? Are you a kind person? Are you able to handle other people's issues? Are you able to counsel people? Many people aren't successful in ministry because they think about what they can do, how well they can preach and how well they can teach and how well they can pray and how well they can prophesy and all of these things, but they don't think about, can I be a good pastor? Can I be a type of person where people can confide in? Can I be the type of person who people can trust? And so they are good at the preaching aspect, but they're terrible with leading people. They're terrible with having positive relationships. They get annoyed when people call them about their problems. People who are business owners. One thing that I've come to realize is that owning your own business, being an entrepreneur, doesn't limit yourself to a 9-to-5. Being an entrepreneur is 24/7. A lot of us desire to be entrepreneurs, but we still have a 9-to-5 mindset. So can you really run a successful company as an entrepreneur, thinking 9-to-5? Right? Am I only going to deal with my business between 9 and 5, or am I okay with going past 5 o'clock? Am I okay with working on weekends? Am I okay with starting before 9 o'clock? Most successful entrepreneurs start their day at 5 a.m. One of my favorite people, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, he starts his day off at 4:30 in the morning. He goes to bed. On the flip side, he goes to bed by 10. Not even. He goes to bed by like 7, 8 o'clock. Am I willing to go to bed at 8 o'clock? That's the question we got to ask ourselves. Am I able to go to bed early? Well, that's one of the challenges I have. One of the challenges I have is going to bed early. It's been a constant struggle for years that I've been trying to work on, and I've been trying to build and accomplish, and I'm struggling. I'm struggling. Please pray for me. I'm struggling with that. I'm struggling with being able to go to bed early and wake up early. So these are the things that we have to evaluate. These are the things that we have to think about, because we want to become great, but we have to be able to have what it takes to become great. So what do I need to become is the question. What do I need to become? First and foremost, if you're going to become, you got to let go of the past. And I know that's a nerve. I know that hits a nerve and strikes a nerve for a lot of people. You got to let go of the past. You got to let go in order to become you got to let go of the old you, the past you, in order to become the future you. And it's hard because you have to let go of past mistakes. You have to let go of past regrets. You have to let go of past hurts. You got to let go of the hurtful experiences, the unhealthy relationships that you've developed, the limiting mindsets that you've developed over the years, right? Because of what you've experienced, those things that have influenced your character and influenced your personality. You have to let go of the past. You got to let go of the things that have hurt you, and you got to forgive. And it's hard. I know it's hard. I know it's challenging. But you have to ultimately determine and make a decision. Is my future more important than my past? Is becoming successful or accomplishing my dream or accomplishing my vision, accomplishing my goals, is that more important than the unforgiveness? Is it more important than letting go of the hurt, the pain of the past? Once you make the decision, you have to ultimately forgive. You got to forgive those who hurt you. You have to forgive those who took advantage of you. And most importantly, you have to forgive yourself for letting it happen. And I know that's a whole conversation that we can have just by itself. But you got to forgive yourself. Yes, certain things happen. And guess what? You did the best that you could with what you knew. You did the best that you could in the time that you did it. So you have to be able to forgive yourself, forgive others. And once you're able to let go of the past, now you make room, now you make space, now you develop the capacity to be able to grow into the future you. So you have to ultimately, if you're going to become, you have to let go of who you were. And so that's one of the first things that you have to do if you're going to become. I want to become successful. I want to become great. So I got to let go of who I was. I got to let go of the decisions that I made in the past. I got to let go of the things that people did to hurt me. I got to let go of the regrets, right? I have to let go of the if I had known then what I knew now kind of feelings. Because oftentimes we fall into those traps. And even as leaders, sometimes we fall into those traps, especially when we make mistakes in our leadership. We question, man, if I had only done this. One of the things that I constantly go back and forth with myself about is I did my degree in one thing. And I say to myself sometimes, man, if I had known that leadership was what I was good. Prime example, when I was picking a graduate program to pursue, I was in between doing an MBA and doing the organizational leadership degree. And I talked to various people and was advised it's better to go with an MBA because the MBA will open up more doors, right? Now, I come to realize that I don't really use my MBA as much, but had I pursued that degree in organizational leadership, perhaps I could have possibly developed better connections. Perhaps I could have been connected to the right organizations. Perhaps I could have had the right the experiences. I could have had greater expertise in learning more about leadership. But I can't beat up myself or beat up or be focused on the regret of the decision that I made to go after my MBA. Instead, I have to say, all right, I pursued this. I did get something from it. Now I have to use that and also do what I need to do to develop as a leadership trainer, as a leadership consultant, as someone who builds leaders. So you have to let go of the regrets and all those things and really focus on what you want to become. So that's the first thing you have to do. And once you let go of the past, then you make a new commitment. And that's the second thing. Make a new commitment. After you let go of the past and you start focusing on the new, then make a commitment to yourself that you're going to be the best version of yourself for your vision. Make a commitment that I'm going to work, I'm going to grind, I'm going to put in the effort I need to become a greater person. Because you have to make a commitment to growth. You have to make a commitment to becoming who you want to be. We all want to be successful. We all want to reach a higher level. And so we have to make that commitment that I'm going to develop these traits. I'm going to develop these characteristics. I'm going to develop this mindset that I'm going to constantly be building and working on my character so that when I do get to that next level, when I do accomplish my dream and accomplish my vision, I can manage it, I can maintain it, and I can even take it further than I ever imagined. So what are we doing? First, you got to let go of the past. Second, you got to make that commitment. Make that commitment to yourself and no one else. You're not doing this because you want to make other people happy. You're not doing this because you want to please someone else. You're doing this because you need to become. You need to become the person that's needed to accomplish your dream. And so we have to truly change our perspective and change our approach and really make that commitment to ourselves. So that's what I'm encouraging you today. Make a commitment today that I'm letting go of the past and I'm going to be working. I'm going to be working on building myself. I'm going to be working on building my character. I'm going to be working on building those habits. And that's the third thing, building new habits. What are some new habits that you can adopt, right? Remember I talked about we have to adopt and adapt. What are some new habits that you need to adopt? What are some new habits that you need to adapt? What do you need to swap out in place of old habits, right? Prime example, instead of going to IG, Instagram, the first thing you do when you wake up, instead of doing that 20 minutes, that 30 minutes that you would have spent scrolling through your news feed, scrolling through your timeline, use that 20 minutes to read. Use that 30 minutes to read a book that's going to help you develop and help you to grow. Right? Instead of ordering out, right? Watch a cooking video. Right? DoorDash, Grubhub, they take, even the restaurant itself, take at least 20 to 30 minutes to deliver food to you anyway. Right? So instead of waiting that 20, 30 minutes on someone to deliver fast food that's most likely going to be unhealthy, right? And watch a cooking video. Use that 20 minutes to learn how to cook your favorite food or to cook a healthy food. YouTube is a great resource. You can find everything on YouTube. So do that. Instead of watching Netflix, instead of watching Love and Hip Hop, watch a video on how to start a business. These are the things that we have to develop. We have to start developing new habits. New habits that are going to be able to help us get better, get closer, and grow and get better in our vision building skills. And even if you can't give it up, match it, right? So instead of spending that 45 minutes, that hour watching Real Housewives of Atlanta or whatever Housewives show is out now, match it. For every hour of Real Housewives that you watch an hour of an instructional video or an educational video or a motivational video. Match it, right? Instead, for every cup of soda you drink, have a cup of water. Match it so that eventually you start to decline those bad habits and you start to build the new habits. We have to build the new habits if we want to be successful. You want to be a billionaire, right? You want to be a millionaire? What are the habits that you need to develop? Like I told you, I'm working on getting up at 5 a.m. I'm working towards building that in my repertoire. But one thing that I can tell you that I've done, I started reading. I read something that said that the average CEO reads at least 30 books a year. I started that. I started reading books on a regular basis. I pushed myself to, rather than look at and scroll through Instagram in the morning, I'm picking up my book and I'm reading, or I'm opening up my Bible app and I'm reading a scripture for the day so that I can set my day off in a positive manner. It's about building new habits and then also building new behaviors, because how will the future you act? How should the future you act? What are the mannerisms that you have to adopt? What are the behaviors that you have to adopt? Do you need to be more kind? right? Do you need to be more kind? Do you need to be more trustworthy? Do you need to develop in areas of integrity? How do you need to learn how to handle pressure in a better way? See, when you think about those things, when you start to develop those behaviors and those habits and those mannerisms, then you can find that you're truly begin to grow into who you need to become. Find successful people. Find people in your industry who are at the level that you're trying to get to, right? How do they behave? What are some of the things that they do? You know, find mentors, find coaches, like find those people who can be a positive influence that help you get to where they are. Because we need leaders, we need role models, right? It's more than just watching them operate in on a talent level, right? It's more than just seeing how good they are in their field and in their talent, but what are the back end things that they do? What books have they read? What conversations have they done? One thing that I've learned from John Maxwell is that every conversation he has with someone, one of the first questions he asks an individual that he meets for the first time is, who do you know that I need to know? Who do you know that I need to know? What books have you read that I need to read? And in doing that, one thing he said that when he first started in building his leadership journey, one of the first things that he did was he reached out to successful people, offered to take them to lunch and pay for their lunch, and he would come with his notepad and his pen with a bunch of questions to ask them, and he would ask these questions and about the things that they've done to become successful. It's more than just the highlights of someone's career. What do they do to get to that level of success that they're at? How did they build that Fortune 500 company? How did they build that successful team? How did they build that successful nonprofit? How did they build that successful ministry? One of the people that I desire to have a conversation with is TD Jakes, because I look at him as a prime example for me, because he's very successful in business, he's very successful in media, he's very successful in ministry. Who are the examples that you want to follow? If you had a moment to sit with them and ask them what questions would you ask them? It's more than just about the house that they're living in or the amount of people they influence or the amount of money in their bank account. But what steps did they take? And when you start to learn these things, then you really begin to realize what you can adopt and adapt into your own personal life. And so these are just a few of the things that I wanted to bring to our attention. I wanted to pose to each and every one of us that if we want to be successful, we want to be great, we want to accomplish our dream and our vision and our goals, then it's more than just what we need. It's more than just the money that I need to make this dream big. It's more than about what people I need to make this thing successful. It's more than what networks I need to be in. It's more than what resources I need to be successful. But who do I need to become? What things do I need to adapt? What things do I need to let go of, right? You want to build a great network, but if you get into that network, will people like you? Will people be attracted to you? Will people find you interesting? These are the things that truly make a difference. And so we have to become the person who is able to maintain and manage that success. And it's all about the process. It's all about the journey. We're all growing into who we are destined to be. We're all growing into the leaders that we desire to be. And so think about that this week. One of the challenges I want to give to you this week is take a moment and write down your vision. Write it in details. You want to start a business, what does it look like? On one page or 2 pages or how many whatever pages you need. Write down what your vision is in full detail. You know, how many people on your staff? What kind of products are you or services are you offering? And write those things down in detail. And then on another page, write down the qualities that you need to have to accomplish that vision. right? We can sit for days and we can talk about the money that we need, how much money we need. We can talk about the resources that we need. But before you even get to all of that, to properly build a successful vision, who do I need to become? And so do that this week. Write down your vision, right? Well, yeah, all know my hoodie and my t-shirt. The phrase that I use is write the vision, make it plain, change the game. Changing the game is about becoming the person who is able to accomplish the vision. So this week, write down in full detail the vision, the business, the nonprofit. Where do you want it to go? Where do you see it growing into? And then write down the qualities that you need. And be honest. Be honest in identifying what you have and what you don't have. We have to be self-aware. We have to increase our self-awareness. What qualities are necessary in order for this thing to be successful, in order for this thing to be great, in order for this thing not to crumble and fail? And as you write down those qualities, begin to evaluate, what do I have? What do I need? All right, I am good at organizing, but I need to learn how to better time manage. I wanna have a team of people that are going to help build this vision and build this dream, build this business. Okay, what type of qualities do I need as a manager to be able to effectively lead that team? So do that this week. Write your vision, write down the qualities that you need to accomplish that vision, or the qualities needed to accomplish that vision, and write down what you need in order to accomplish that vision. So look at the qualities, evaluate what you have and what you need to work on. And then actively, like I said in the beginning, we're in the second quarter of this year. We're already moving into April. Use this time, use the rest of this year to start working on those qualities, working on those skills, working on those habits. You want to stop eating junk food. What habits do you need to now develop? Okay, I need to go on walks on a daily basis. I need to go on jump rope. I need to get a jump rope, or I need to, instead of buying chips, start buying fruits. Right? So start thinking about what you need and start working towards that. And I guarantee you that when you finally get to that place of accomplishing your vision, or when you start to build momentum, you will find that you have the necessary qualities to be able to keep the momentum going. You have the skills and the traits to be able to get the engine going, to get your team motivated, to make it successful. You'll have the confidence. That's one thing that a lot of us struggle with, is having the confidence. And when you evaluate yourself and you build on the things that you need to work on, you will develop the confidence that you need to make it successful. So I want you to work on that this week. Start to think about these things. Start to really, truly evaluate and reflect and adopt and adapt. Let that be your motivation for this week. Let that be your saying or your quote for this week, that I need to adopt and adapt, and begin to actively work on it. And I guarantee that it will produce great results. So thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you taking the time on your Monday. I really, truly enjoy these times together, because it truly is enlightening to me, and it's helpful to others. I've gotten such positive feedback from people who watch this live, and I really, truly appreciate the support. So I encourage you to have a great week. Have a productive week. Don't allow the challenges that you're facing to distract you or keep you from accomplishing your goals. Don't let discouragement keep you from pursuing. On days you feel discouraged, start to take strides to really, truly work. Remember what you're working towards. Don't let disappointment keep you from pursuing after your dream and after your goal. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And so we're working towards it. So I encourage you this week that you have a good week, that you have a productive week, that you have a blessed week, and that in all that you pursue, all that you endeavor to do, that you will be able to accomplish it with the help of God, with the help of a family, with the help of friends, even with the help of your enemies, with the help of your haters. I encourage you to keep pursuing, keep driving, keep building your vision, and watch the results. I'm looking forward to hearing the testimonies. I'm looking forward to hearing the feedback. I'm looking forward to hearing the many changes and the positive effects that you all will have on those that are around you. It's always about having a positive effect on those that are around us and really making a difference. Leaving a mark is not about always having a world-changing experience, but it's about changing the world that you're in, changing those in your immediate surroundings. So I encourage you all to have a great week, have a productive week, have a blessed week. Thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you all again next week as we continue our leadership conversations. God bless you all.